episode. Stop the cap! Because there's a whole lot of capping going on. But get in here now. We have a lot to discuss, a lot of things to talk about. This is Thursday Throwdown, okay? And it's been going down today. Well, do you like my little blue? I just blued out today, a little something. I don't know. I've been wanting to wear this over top for a minute, and I was like, today is the day to wear it. I don't know why, but I thought it was super duper cute. But we have a lot of things going on. Aaron Rodgers finally clears the set, finally makes it known what it is and what it's not. Wembanyama did what he needed to do, making history again. Come on. I have my opinions on Cooper Flagg, and you probably won't like them, but hey, it's my opinion. And then the NBA is just stirring up with some news. I should have had a ticket. We have tea for you. But no, the FBI has now entered the building, and we will be talking about that. All of that right here on the Daily Dose with Des show. I am your lovely host, Des, and we're going to get into this right after you know what I have to do. You know what I have to do. Right after this introduction.
Your feeling so proud. This is how we do it now. Daily Dose with Des. Got you coming back for more.
So I look great to myself in here, but when I look at myself on the box, like on the other screen, I don't really like it, but we're going to work on it because it was my microphone. It just decided to skits, and this one catches real good. So I have to be mindful not to be too loud because it gets on this. So I need like microphone recommendations. A really, really good one. I know it's going to cost me a cute little penny. That pink one actually was not cheap at all, actually. But I did have it for some time. So it's probably time for me to upgrade it or whatever. So that's going to be the first things first, because although this little cute one it's all right, I want to upgrade it because I do not want to have to keep worrying about the audio. I don't want to have to keep worrying about, fixing this, fixing that. I just want to be able to talk. I just want to be able to talk. That's my thing. I just want to be able to talk. I'm also looking for a co-host, a sit-in co-host that'll come on and co-host with me, because I want to be able to talk to someone else, because me just continuously just talk to myself sometimes is like, I feel a little crazy. Just a little bit. Because I want to have call and response. I want to be able to have conversations. So I'm looking for a sit-in co-host to come and have conversations. And even if it's not the entire show, it can be, I would like someone to be here for the entire show, because I do obviously a lot of topics, but I will have people coming in. I do have some people lined up to come in to be on the show, but I want somebody a little bit more permanent. It just makes it feel a lot easier, a lot smoother, a lot better when I'm able to talk to people. And I guess I'm like that with the TGFF show, so make sure you're checking it out. I wasn't on this week because work schedule's crazy, but being able to talk with those guys on there is like really gets me going. It gets my brain going, and it's more exciting. Right here, I'm just like, I'm reporting to you the sports, news, drama, and entertainment. But we gotta get into it. So, yeah, if you are looking to come and be my co-host, I would love that. You can reach out to me at media@pglovesports.org. That's media@pglovesports.org. You should already know how I am with the PG Love Sports. It is not going anywhere. It's universal. Okay. I need to trademark it. So if you're a trademark lawyer or know a trademark lawyer, I have one myself, but she's kind of busy and she's a little pricey. I'm not saying I want to get it for free or for cheap. I'm just saying, it was just out. If you sponsor me, your logo and ad can be everywhere. Just saying. But let's go ahead and get on into all of the mess. Okay? But let me check my audio real quick. Let me see. Hold on, wrong thing. let's go ahead and get on the two of the
Oh, that
best.
sounds good. This little microphone is doing it. Okay, I gotta make sure I don't yell. Y'all know I like to be yelling. I be yelling. Okay, we're gonna get into it. Okay, because yeah, I'm gonna have one NFL topic, so we're going to just talk about the one NFL topic that I have. We're gonna put it up first. So Aaron Rodgers is playing against the Packers, and it's a Sunday night game, which, golly, right? And of course, people were just saying, like, it's going to be one of those revenge games. He's going back and he hates it and hates Green Bay. And there's so much animosity and there's so much back and forth. And he finally sat down and did a pod, which we haven't heard him in a while, which, you know, he's been focusing on his thing. And he actually comes and says, like, that's not a revenge game for him. It's just, I have no animosity. I don't have a problem with anybody in Green Bay. He spent 18 years of his, he's been in the game for 18 years, but he spent majority of his career in Green Bay. That's where, you know, they took a chance on him. That's where he learned. It's where he grew up. It's like all of the things with Green Bay. So he would never have animosity towards him. He loves them. He loves the organization, and he wants to retire as a Green Bay Packer because that's where his career began. So he was like, let's nip that in the bud. There is no animosity. There's no issues or problems. I don't have any grief with anybody. And I'm not looking at this game as if it's something for me to do, like, to get my get back. That's not what I'm here for. It's not even like, I don't even think that it probably crossed his mind. I really think he probably feels like, wow, I'm going back home. I'm going to where I'm familiar. And I finally get a chance to see it from the other side, obviously, right? But I get a chance to really play out, which is probably going to be my last season, because he said that as well, that he's pretty sure that this season with Pittsburgh is going to be his last season in general, and then after that he's going to retire, but he wants to retire as a Packer. So usually in those deals, it's like a 1-day contract where you sign on, and then that within that 1 day he also then retires. And I hope that they do him well, and I hope that when he goes, you know, he gets a welcome. I hope that he gets the praise and honor that maybe, you know, some of his fans still think that he deserves, because it is true. He did grow up in Green Bay. That's where he spent a lot of his time and career, and I completely understand why he would want to retire as a Green Bay Packer. That's just like, it's not really a good example. But that's just like, I think that when Russell Wilson, for example, is about to retire, I do not think that he wants to retire as a New York Giant. I think that he would want to retire as a Seattle Seahawk. That's just my opinion, though, right? So I think that when you have a quarterback, or not even just quarterback, when you have a player who's played for so long with your organization, who's given basically your life to that organization, that they would want to go back and retire with their original team. Tom Brady is something different, right? Although he retired as a Buck, right? But he also made it known that New England was a huge part of his career, and without that, you would have nothing. And same thing with Aaron Rodgers. And Rodgers was like, they made me a ton of money. Why would I have any ill feelings towards it? So the guy has spoken. This is likely going to be his very last season. He's going to and wants to retire as a Packer. So Packers, make it happen. Okay, make it happen. In this game, it's not a revenge game. It's more like a welcome home game. And really, I think he's going to be filled with emotion. I really hope that he doesn't like let it get to him too much, and then he goes out and throws, 4 interceptions. So either way, Aaron Rodgers has spoken. Cheers to that, to looking forward to retirement. Pittsburgh's going to be in some trouble. If they don't get it figured out like yesterday, they may be in some trouble. There's hopes that they'll go ahead and draft a quarterback from the draft. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know about that. So they're going to be in some trouble once again. It's like the never ending story of Pittsburgh, just offensive troubles. Yeah. But either way, that's my Aaron news for the day. And my only football topic. We're going to be heavily, heavily, heavily invested into basketball after this. But I want to talk about a very, very near and dear guy to the Tennessee Evolves community, especially for the baseball community. They are losing their head coach, the one who took them to the College World Series. This is a great opportunity for him. This is a hooray moment. This is a round of applause because he's getting hired as the Giants' new manager. This is his very first professional job. He has spent his entire career on the collegiate level. So he's, not only is he, making history for himself, he's also making history for the MLB, because it is stated that there has never been a coach that has no pro experience or only college experience getting their first manager position. But looking at his career in retrospect, I think that is well deserved. I think that he will be just fine. I think that if he can take a team to the College World Series and coach them up and do what they need to do, I feel like, it is a higher level, but it's just about the same standard. He knows how to talk to people, especially the athletes. He knows how to do what works. He knows how to just, build that rapport with coaching. And I think that at the professional level, that part is sometimes missing, especially for the Giants. So I think this is an amazing opportunity for him. Obviously, everybody thinks that, but it's also like a sad moment for the Vols and their baseball program, because now they're like, we got to get a new person at the helm. And we got to hope that they help us create that success that we have continued to see over time. But I think Coach Tony, which his name is Tony Vitello, I think he'll do great at this position. We're all rooting for him. I'm not going to support the Giants. I'm not even going to hold y'all. They're not going to be on my support list, but I support him. So we're going to root for his success. And we're going to root for, all the things that he's going to bring. And let's hope that we can see some of his players, maybe not only just make it into the league, obviously, but he may get one or two players on his roster. And how great would that be? How great would that be to continue to coach your players? You coached them through college, and now you're about to coach them on the professional level. I think that's so cool. But yes, great opportunity for this coach. I love seeing coaches that get the opportunity to get on the higher levels when they usually get overlooked in a lot of times, but it's like his success, his career, and just the type of man he is. I don't see how they could overlook him at all. So congratulations to the new head coach of the Giants. Baseball is up. Okay. Let's go on. We're now going to move into WNBA. So, as I said it before, I think, I've talked about this a lot, right? Hold on. Yeah. Okay. So I talked about this before in quite a few videos, right? Where we were talking about the WNBA and they're going through negotiations and all that, jazz. I thought this graphic was so cute. I was like, I gotta put that up there. But negotiations for their current contract is actually ending, and it's up. Time is up as of October 31st. So within a week of time. That does not mean that there's going to be a total lockout. The Players Association and the league could come together and say, hey, we're going to do what the government can't seem to do, and we're going to work together to get an extension to continue to working on our negotiations, right? So that's what is looking like it's going to happen, because they do not want to have any type of lockout. And now it's the back and forth of, well, we tried to give them to their offer, we gave them an uncapped sharing opportunity and this and that. It's a lot of, again, obviously it's going to be a lot of she said, because a lot of the leadership are women, right? And some of it I find is like an emotional response, like they're just emotionally driven, so they're speaking out about it. The other one is more calculated, and I feel as though this is just it's a make for just a plot of spaghetti at this point. It's just like, figure it out. Adam Silver did come out and said, well, the WNBA players will be getting a raise because they're going to help them. They're going to give them more money and everything like that. And rightfully so. I talked about it before. Yes, they deserve a raise in some form of fashion, but they also need to make sure that the money is coming in, that they have enough money to pay everyone, to pay the debts, to pay whatever they got. And then they need to kind of move forward with that. I also said I think that the WNBA could do a little bit better with their marketing. As a person that comes from marketing, as a person who's applied for marketing positions, just throw it out there. But there is just so much more in terms of WNBA marketing that they could do. Like, they had the partnership with Skims, right? So why don't I seen that one photo shoot? Why don't I see more of that? Why don't I see more advertisement for Skims? If Skims is going to be one of your big partners, we should see Skims everywhere. Skims should be in our face, thrown down our throats. It should make us sick, right? It should make us absolutely sick, because that's how much you are marketing it to us. Because if Skims is making money off the WNBA, and there's a way to track those metrics, I guarantee you that, then they're going to do what? Want to push and put more money into the league. I don't know if it's a league thing with Fenty or if it's just the New York Liberty with Fenty, but they even had their mascot doing things with Fenty. Hello, genius. What the New York Liberty do in terms of their marketing, in terms of their mascot, is just absolutely fantastic. Even what they do for the Brooklyn Nets. Not the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets, the dancers. What they do in terms of their marketing is just top tier quality. And guess what? Somebody had to start from somewhere. So whether that person started and maybe they had a little bit of experience, now it's grown to something that's renowned. The Brooklyn Nets are a well-known, renowned dance team. You know who they are. Ellie the Elephant. I literally had someone say something to me today. They're in Texas and they're like, yeah, we love Ellie the Elephant because the marketing is pristine, right? There's opportunities for the WNBA, and I've talked about this in lengths on so many other posts. And yes, each team markets differently. Okay, cool. But as a league as a whole, I'm not seeing enough of the marketing things. Like, I don't know. I knew Skims because I reported on Skims. I don't know any other sponsors for the WNBA. I don't. So that's part of the problem. The TV deals, they did get better with TV deals, but we need better TV deals. We need better times when the games is on. The games, their games get like the chump times, the times that nobody really want to watch because there's other big sporting things going on. They need better deals, and they need a business person there. It could be a businesswoman or a businessman. It don't matter. I'm not saying it has to be a man. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they need to get somebody in there that knows how that they speak money. What really said? What a money reside, what a money reside, what a money reside, what a money reside. That's who they need in the position of leadership to lead, to be their commissioner. Nothing against Kathy. I think she's done great things, but I think she also has some help with some players coming in. So some of that just surged itself. But they need somebody who thinks like money and figure out a way of how to get it done. And it may seem like, darn, they about to be pimping out these teams. Well, I'm not saying that they need to. That's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is they could benefit probably from a little bit. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, the marketing could be like 10 times better for WNBA, for sure. Because there are some people that just loves women's basketball. They love women's sports. So it could be 10 times better. So I think that's something that's going on in negotiations. And I think, like I said before, I told y'all that Kathy is probably going to lose that job as commissioner once the negotiations are finished. And that's why the league is kind of dragging their feet. I said it on a couple posts ago. I'll try to remember what post it is, and I'll link it somewhere up here if you're watching the rebroadcast of the video. But I said that she's probably going to be dragging her feet until she can't drag them no more. Okay? I'm going to drag my feet because I'm not trying to lose my job. She don't want to lose that job. And I understand. I understand. Trust me. I understand. But I think, I don't know if it's too far gone now. I don't know if she's lost them to the point where they just really don't want to deal with her. And they really just don't want to be around her. And like I said, that's players, staff, coaches, all of that. They're just kind of tired and they're just done. And they're just over this part of the negotiation. They want it to be done and over with. And rightfully so. I said, well, maybe they're just waiting until the WNBA finals are finished. Well, they've been finished for some time now. What are we waiting on? I feel like the day after it finished, okay, we'll give you 2 days. Maybe 2-3 days after it finished, there should have been people from each side sitting down with the lawyers, figuring out what the negotiations are going to be. I do want to note though too, I think that if the players are just standing firm and they don't want to negotiate, I don't think that's going to work either. There has to be give and take on both sides. But again, 2-3 days after that finals, they should have been sitting down. They should have just stayed in Las Vegas, yeah. Go somewhere like the Venetian, go to Caesars, anywhere, get a room, sit down and figure it out. I think it's really that simple, but they're going to keep dragging it until they can't drag it any longer. And then it's going to be something major that happens. But apparently the notion of the uncapped sharing partnership thing is allegedly not true. The league is saying it's true. The Players Association is saying this BS. So we shall see, and we will keep, continuation of figuring out what is exactly going on with all of this negotiation talk. What is it going to look like? I definitely think the WNBA is coming back next season. I don't think that it's going to draw out to where it's like a complete lockout. I don't really see that happening, but I do want to see what comes from that. And in terms of what comes from that, when one door closes, another one always opens when you're a good person, when you're a good coach, when you mean well, when you do well, when you show up like you're supposed to. I reported on this before. The New York Liberty fired their head coach after one season of getting them to the finals and winning it, by the way. Did I add that? Right? Sandy did her thing. This season it wasn't as successful. And you know what? That happens. That happens. We're not going to act like there's times where your team can't be. That happens. It happens. Right? So they decided to let her go. They said, yeah, we're out here. And from there, it was like, oh, okay, well, now that she's free, we got a even better job for her. The Toronto Tempo has now hired her as their very first head coach. They are an expansion team and their inaugural season will be in 2026. So she went from New York City to Toronto. She didn't even have to go too far. She can still live somewhere in New York if she wants to. She doesn't necessarily have to go live in Toronto. Both places are super expensive though, so I don't really know what she plans to do there. Both places are expensive. Okay, it's like, what do y'all want me to do? Okay, insert the Tyrese emoji. What more do you want from me? Okay, the rent is high, but she getting a good salary. She getting a good check. So I don't think that's probably going to be something that she's worried about. But she is definitely going to somewhere that is going to obviously want her to be there. Somebody that's going to appreciate her expertise at least. And she gets to make history. So she made history with the Liberty, and now she's gonna make history with the Tempo, whether they do good or they don't. She has made history. She is now cemented in their history. She will go down as their very first head coach. And guess what? She didn't gotta stress no more. She probably wasn't stressed anyway. Because like I said, she's a good coach, and I thought that she was going to land somewhere else. I thought that she was going to go to Dallas. No, I said Seattle. But either way, she's going to somewhere good. I think they're going to appreciate her. I think that she's going to like it there. And it's a brand new team. So can you imagine if she do what the Golden State Valkyries did and she takes that team to the playoffs in the first season? Ooh, my golly. New York will have some splaining to do. Yeah, you forget she know how to beat y'all. These little cups are so cute, right? These are from Better Home and Gardens. And I like it because it's like one of those tough plastic cups. I tapped on it earlier. Right, so... It's one of those tough plastic cups. I think it's like so regal. It's so cute. Let me move it on this side. Let's take Sandy off this screen. I just needed a break. It's so cute and it's so regal. And it's just like, it reminds me of like the Victorian age cups when they used to sit down at the dinners. And they used to have the cups of the wine in the inside. And then like everybody would drink from the cups. But their cups were like metal, stainless steel and gold and all that stuff. This one's not like that. So it's not like that. But I got this one. I bought two of them for 75 cents. I did. They're not originally 75 cents, but I found them for 75 cents. So when I saw it, I was like, there's no way I can let this go. I can't pass this up. So I bought it. Super duper cute. And I just thought I could match my outfits for the day. So yeah, I'm like, yeah. I'm definitely going to use it. I like it. You can get a full can in here. So it's about 16 ounces. Because I still had some space left in here. Yeah, it's about a 16 ounce cup. But yeah, anyway. Moving on. To the Dallas Wings. The Dallas Wings have found their new head coach. Jose Fernandez is going to be leaving the University of South Florida, and he is going to be going to Dallas. Now, he hasn't officially been hired on paper yet, but there's been conversations about it. A contract is being drafted up, and he's already gave notice that he will be going to Dallas. That's where he's going to go. He said, I will be a fool to pass up this opportunity. So that's what he's going to do. That's where he's going to go. And he will be the 5th head coach within the Dallas Wings 7 seasons. So he is going to be at the stakes. There's going to be, I feel like when you have so much turnover within your coaching staff, one, you're really not giving that coach an opportunity to see if the program and the system is going to work. I am a strong believer, and I've said this before, that I do not believe that a coach can turn around a franchise or organization, a team, or whatever however you want to call it, within one season. Can it enhance or can it improve within that one season? Absolutely. Can it be like the luck of the draw and they just figure it all out and everything just falls into place? Yes, absolutely. But I'm saying in most case scenarios, revamping a team, rebuilding it, rebranding it, having them learn you and you learning them and figuring out what metrics and all that is going on really takes a little bit longer than one season. Again, that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree, but that's just my opinion. So having a coach, a brand new coach year after year after year is essentially also hurting your organization because now you have your players learning a new system, learning a new coach, figuring out the new schemes. No coach is the same. So I get it. You're looking for your team to be competitive. You want to see success. You want the wins. You want Paige to be happy. You want the players on that team to be happy. And you want to make sure that your organization is looking like creme de la creme, top of the top. Trying to get yourself up there with the Las Vegas Aces, the New York Liberty, the Phoenix Mercury. But it also takes time. And if you're not willing to invest at least 2 seasons, then you're going to struggle for a long time. So I'm hoping that Mr. Jose here can come in, have the basketball, angels on his shoulders, and he can really do something and work something out for Dallas so that way he can at least get to a second season, maybe get to a third season. He's been successful at South Florida, so they're hoping that he can bring that same success, but he is also a collegiate coach. So now he has to be able to build that system on a professional level. And again, I think it's going to take time. I did not see this pick coming of all picks, but this is the one that they chose. This is the one that they want. So I'm hoping and rooting for him and trying to give him some success. And before I skip off of him, because surely, I always pull up the articles just so I can have them, but he's expected to have a contract early Friday. Okay. And it says here that USF confirmed in a social media statement that Fernandez has informed the school of his decision to leave the program to coach in the WNBA. Fernandez coached the Bulls to 10 NCAA tournament appearances, including 8 in the past 11 years. Since arriving in Tampa in 2000, compiling a 485 to 317 record and turning the program into one of the best mid-majors in the country. Over the past 25 years, Jose has been exemplary as a leader, a mentor, and advocate for the University of South Florida. And this is a statement that came from the Athletics CEO, Rob Higgins. Says that his impact on USF athletics and our university community is profound, and his legacy will be remembered and celebrated for years to come. Okay, so they will be having an interim coach come in. But again, he's had success, and they're hoping that within his tenure of success, he can also now bring that to Dallas and really turn things around for that organization. So we're going to have our eyes on that. We're going to have our eyes on him and see what he can do for this season. Yes, that calls for a what? Round of applause. Yeah. Okay. That is all of my WNBA news, and we're going to now move on to the NBA. Okay, so last night I did watch this complete and entire game because I wanted to see what was going on. I also am I'm obsessed with Victor Wembanyama, but he's on the next topic. But this is also the debut of 18-year-old former Duke player Cooper Flagg. He was the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft. So, when I found out that he was 18 years old, I said, whoa. Whoa. Hold on. 18? My golly. And I watched him and his debut. Part of me feels like the Dallas Mavericks just kind of suck. And I hate to say that. But I feel like the Dallas Mavericks just hasn't figured out their full-on scheme and team and what is the identity there? What do they want it to be? And I also feel like Cooper Flagg didn't have a whole lot of help, right? But he had a decent performance, especially for an opener. Not something that was exemplary or great, in my opinion. He had 10 points and 10 rebounds, no assists. So he had a double-double. Okay. And when I found out that he only did 1 year at Duke, I was like, maybe he should have stayed at Duke. Like, was it really necessary for him to come out after being on that team for 1 year and then entering in the NBA? And the only reason why I say this is because sometimes, I know people like he was ready. He's ready to go to the NBA. He didn't need development. He didn't need being on a team. He's talented. He's skilled. He's all these things. And yes, he is. He is literally all of those things that you're saying. But I also feel like he could have really benefited from an extra year in college. I don't know. I feel like he could have. Even if it was just him growing up just a little bit more. Being 18 and now coming into a world where it's like, whoa, you know? I think that you could grow up a little bit. You can use that time in college to just grow up a little bit before entering the league. The league is not going anywhere. Okay. And then for him to come out and not have the like type of night that Victor had is kind of like, okay. This didn't go as well as they thought that it would go. And like I said, I also put some of this blame on Dallas as a whole because I don't feel like the team is it. I don't feel like the team is it. You cannot expect Cooper Flagg to go out there and be the only part of the team that's working mechanically. The only part of the team that's doing things. No. He has 4 other people out there with him, and all 4 need to have the same level of competitiveness, consistency for one. I think all of them need better consistency, grit, and just the dynamic that you want to win the game. So that's just my opinion. I feel like he probably could have benefited from additional year of college, just growing up a little bit more and then coming into the league. And I feel like Dallas went out and got him and wanted him. So they should have made sure that the team was complete from top to bottom to be ready to compete this season. That's just my opinion. It's my opinion. 10 points. Okay. Obsessed. I'm obsessed. I am obsessed. Obsessed. Okay, I'm obsessed. I was obsessed with him last season. I didn't show it as much, but I will this season. I'm going to be showing it. Okay, I'm obsessed. You can call me a Stan account, okay? I am an official Stan account of Victor Wemby, a.k.a. the alien, a.k.a. the Frenchman, all those things. But he makes history again for the Spurs. In his opening season game, he scored 40 points. That is the most ever scored in an opening game for the San Antonio Spurs. So he just keeps doing it. He's playing elite already. And everybody blew up his little comment that he said after the game. And he was like, I worked effing hard over the summer. It's like, okay, he said the F word. Okay, get over it. Get over it. He can do no wrong in my eyes. Okay? He just can't. I mean, unless it's something like, the things that I really don't like, right? Like that. But he now holds the stature of my likeliness of him the same way I love Baker Mayfield. He's up there with him. Period. There's nothing you can say that's going to turn me away. Nothing you can say that's going to change my mind. It's set. It's set. Okay? And I need to start, doing more videos. I got to do more videos on Baker, more videos on Wemby, more videos on just all. I'm obsessed, okay? So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You're obsessed. I know. I said it myself, okay? Obsessed. Okay? But 40 points. I think this is the night. He had the night that I was expecting Cooper Flagg to have. And again, I know Dallas is not as, I got it. But he literally had the night that I expected Cooper Flagg to have. There was so much hype coming in over. There was so much hype, like the number one overall draft pick coming in, facing the previous number one, like all the back and forth. 40 points compared to 10. I just expected way better. But Wemby came out, was elite, did what he needed to do. And I know it's kind of hard. It's like he's 7'4" or whatever. It's like, what you want me to do with that? What you want me to do with that? Okay, he's staring, like he's literally looking down at me. But I just expected a more competitive game from those two teams. But Wemby did what he needed to do, showed up, showed out, really showed off his hard work from the summer, really showed that he's putting in the work to become a even better basketball player, to show that he has the grit and the strength, and we already knew that he had the talent. And a lot of people say it's just because it's height, but I think he's, again, working on it and to show that the talent is there as well as the height. It's both. It's both. Both of them. Okay? So I think that he's going to have an exciting season this season. I really think that he is going to continue to carry the Spurs. And I really hope that the Spurs kind of continue to keep it turned up a notch, just so that way we can see them really get further in the NBA season. But it's a really, really long season, and I understand this is the very first game. It just opened up. But for them to make a statement like that opening the season, I think it's really important. So we are going to keep our eye on Wemby and see what he pulls for the rest of the season. Like I said before, basketball and hockey are some of the sports where it's like I can talk about it today, which I will talk about it, but I probably won't make clips of it, because by the time I make a clip and by the time I put out the clip, a new clip needs to be put up and a new clip is happening. Too much. Too much. So I'm going to try to do my due diligence of making sure that I continuously just give updates. So make sure y'all watching the video. That's all I can tell y'all. Because it may not always make a clip. It may not. I don't know what's going on with my mic. It keeps going red. I don't know. I hope my audio isn't going in and out. Like, seriously. Check it again. Always make a clip. Okay. Doesn't seem like it is going in and out. Last topic of the night. Last topic of the night. So, this morning around 6 a.m., the head coach for the Portland Trail Blazers, Chauncey Billups, and the Miami Heat's guard, Terry Rozier, were arrested. You heard me right. Yep. Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups and the Miami Heat's guard Terry Rozier were arrested by the FBI early this morning around 6 a.m. They have now been, suspended and off of their perspective and respective teams. The FBI investigation is still ongoing, and they're in trouble for illegal gambling. And it's not just a small little, I was rigging games. I was putting $50 up for a $10,000 bet. It's not, I was just trying to make $50,000. That's not what this is. Okay? And I need us really to stop the cap. Okay? Because it's the NBA is snitching on their players and they allow gambling. They're sponsored by gambling sites and everything. This is not what that was. I read articles and I seen videos. They had ties to the mafia. That's organized crime. Okay? And in case you don't know, right, the FBI is just not like your local police. Okay? Federal Bureau Investigation, FBI, right? They have 6 different divisions. They have 6 different branches, 56 different divisions and field offices and things like that. So the FBI is a large organization that does a lot of different investigation, from terrorism to counterintelligence to cybersecurity to organized crime, violence. They do a little bit of everything. And you know it's something going on real bad when the FBI is involved and has been investigating for years. This is not they got put on last month and then they got arrested tonight. That's not what this is. They have been investigating and they are still investigating, which is why we do not have all of the facts in this case. And y'all know I like to say, you spread facts, not your opinions. Okay? The facts are, this has been going on for a long time. This is not something that's, you think it's petty, if it's like, it's just $50,000. No, this is about tens of millions of dollars in organized crime, from fraud, different poker games, fixing games, etc., etc., etc. And also being tied, again, like I said, to the mafia. And these 2 were not the only 2 that were arrested. Even though that's being reported, they are being arrested because they have ties to the NBA, and a lot of the stuff that was going on had been involving the NBA, and these 2 are active and current in the NBA right now, and that is why they were arrested. It's being stated and being reported that about 30 of them, 30 people in general, were arrested and connected to this whole gambling ring. It's not just these 2 fixing games. No. It's much bigger than that. It's much bigger than that. You're looking at a small capture of the picture, a small piece of the puzzle. The puzzle is much bigger than that. Okay, so that's one thing. And I'm going to bring up the article too, because I think it's important that you just know that I'm not just talking out my butt. I never do, but you get people that are all about that. And if you want to see a piece of the investigation and a piece of what the FBI director Kash Patel was detailing and talking about it, ESPN has the article up right now. You can literally go on there, because ESPN is our sports trusted platform. And you can see the video. It's at the top of the article. Okay? All right. So I'm going to read to you a little bit right here. Billups and Rozier have been placed on leave from their teams, the NBA said in a statement. Of course, the NBA is going to cooperate. They probably helped solve some of this crime. I'm just saying, right? And it says that a former Cleveland Cavaliers player and assistant coach, Damon Jones, has also been arrested as part of a pair of wide-ranging investigations related to illegal sports betting and rigged poker games backed by the mafia. This is what the authorities say, okay? A total of 34 people were arrested as a result of a years-long investigation covering 11 states and involving tens of millions of dollars. And this came again from the FBI director. It says law enforcement officials said the multiple charges involved 4 mafia families and organized crime networks, with Patel saying of the money involved that the fraud is mind-boggling. Rozier was arrested Thursday morning at a hotel in Orlando, Florida. He is accused of participating in an illegal sports betting scheme using insider NBA information, As part of the scheme, gamblers use non-public information to bet on at least 7 NBA games between March 2023 and March 2024, involving the Charlotte Hornets, Orlando Magic, the Portland Trailblazers, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Toronto Raptors, according to the indictment. In 3 of the 7 games, players intentionally removed themselves from contests to benefit the gamblers' bets, according to the indictment. The defendants had access to private information known by NBA players or NBA coaches that would likely affect the outcome of games or players' performance, and provided that information to other co-conspirators in exchange for either a flat fee or a share of betting profits. Okay? So this is insider trading, essentially, inside of the NBA. Okay? And the U.S. District Attorney, the U.S. Attorney of the Eastern District of New York, Joseph Nokala Jr., called it one of the most brazen sports corruption schemes since online sports betting became widely legalized in the United States. Right? And then we're going to go to Billups. Billups was arrested in Oregon and is charged in a separate indictment alleging a wide-ranging scheme to rig underground poker games that were backed by mafia families, authorities said. The defendants are accused of using technology to steal millions from victims in the New York area. And although Billups was not named in these sports betting indictments, the description of a co-conspirator who allegedly, everything's alleged, okay, told a bettor that a number of the Trailblazers players would miss a March 2023 game had a playing and coaching career that matches Billups. Billups and Rozier have been indicted on charges of wire fraud conspiracy and money laundering conspiracy, according to the Assistant U.S. Attorney Diane Hu. Each count carries no more than 20 years in prison. The jailhouse. You understand? Okay, I'm not going to read the entire article because, again, it goes on and on and on. It is literally a wide variety of an article. The information has come from the Associated Press. It has come from the FBI director. It has come from one of the ESPN writers. It has come from the NBA, complying with the statements and sources and all of the other stuff. And like I said, it's still under investigation. It's still ongoing. So as the investigation goes on, that's when we will know even more, right? We would know even more of what is to come as the investigation goes on. So we got to stop the cap of, oh, this was something minor. We have so many other things to worry about, so many other things to focus on. Yes, that is true, but the FBI has more than one job as well. They have more than one job as well. Their job is just to not release the Epstein files, which I'm so tired of hearing that and seeing that. Y'all wasn't worried about the Epstein files 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Y'all wasn't worried about it then, but y'all are so harped on it, worrying about it now. I understand. Yes, the administration said they were going to get a release and all that other stuff. I understand. But if you want to talk about we have other things to worry about and bigger fish to fry, we literally do, outside of the Epstein files. And I know, I hate to break it to y'all, and some of y'all going to be mad at me when I say this, but the Epstein files has nothing to do with this right here. Has nothing to do with the illegal gambling scheme of tens of millions of dollars and people working with the mafia. Two different things. Okay? Two different things. Two different things. And I know some of y'all are probably hoping and praying that the Epstein files will come out because you think that Trump's on the Epstein files. But I guarantee you that if he was on those files, people, you got to use your brain. You got to use your brain. The 2 + 2 has to equal 4, because right now some of y'all are making it equal -2. the brain cells is dead. Okay? If he was in the fouls, you can bet your 2 cookies of a butt cheek, fill in the blank, that they would have been at least part of it. The part that he was a part of would have been released. It would have been highlighted. It would have been expressed. It would have been put out there. We got to use our common sense. At some point, I need us to just use our common sense right now. You think that he's not releasing or hiding the fouls or whatever you think that these people are doing because you think that he's on the fouls. I don't know why we think that. Because again, when the fouls came out 4 years ago, I believe it's been, I can bet you that those fouls were open. I can bet you that there are people that you probably wouldn't expect to have been a part of it in a way. I can bet you that Donald Trump was not on there. Because had he had been, it would have been all over the news, the media. It would have exposed it, and he probably would not have been able to run for this presidency. So whatever you think is in there, or if you think it's going to come out, it's probably a lot worse than you really know. And really, what does you knowing and having the fouls really going to do for you? You don't really care about the fouls. It's the same way that y'all was saying free Palestine. And when the Palestinians were free, nobody said anything. Because y'all didn't really care. So we're gonna stop the cap. We're going to stop the cap because we already know that y'all really actually don't care. You don't. So stop trying to make it seem like you care because you don't. Because I guarantee you that if and when those fouls come out, which there's been a judge that said the fouls can't come out. So if you really kept up and you've been keeping up, there's people behind the scenes doing everything they can to make sure that whatever fouls, whatever list, whatever is on there doesn't come out. It's not just the administration. It's not the administration. Okay? So yeah. What did the lieutenant governor in New York say? No one is above the law. No one, including these two. No one is above the law. At some point, what you do in the dark will come to the light. If you're breaking the law and putting yourself in sticky situations, it's going to come out. And the way they track gambling and the way they track money laundering and wire fraud nowadays, yeah, you're definitely going to get dealt with. And I feel like the only reason why this has become such a big thing and is so public is because these two are public figures. They are players in the NBA because they're not naming, and they have not named so far, the 8 other co-conspirators. They have not named the other people arrested outside of the 3 people that had ties directly and immediately to the NBA. Those are the 3 people that have been notated and has been exploited, right? Because they are a part of this, or they are a part of this organization. If they were not a part of the organization, if they were a whole bunch of like Joe Schmo or just mafia family members and mob bosses, we would not know about this. So that's another thing. So stop the cap making it seem like this had to be known, that this had to be put out there. Because they are a part of the organization who was doing the money laundering and the fraud. That's why we know about it. Stop being so dense. Okay? Stop being dense. We gotta stop that. We gotta stop it. Because it's getting a little out of hand. A little bit. But as you know, as I do with all of the investigations and the arrests, I will definitely keep this one notched to my board, and I will keep tabs on it as information comes out. I will be putting it out, and I will be giving you where I get the facts and where I get all of the information from, so that way you can go and look it up for yourself, because it's important that you do your own due diligence and you do and understand your own rules. Not rules, but you understand your own information as it comes out. So that's on that. I'm going to now hop off of here. This is my last topic, of course, because your girl got some homework to do, and I'm realizing that I got 2 hours to do it. So thank you so much for tuning in, for watching, for being a part of this platform. I appreciate all that you do. I love you guys for all that you do, for supporting and watching, making sure that you are liking, sharing, and blah. I don't know what I was just trying to say. Make sure you are liking, sharing, and subscribing on all social media platforms at PG Love Sports. And again, that's Pretty Girls Love Sports. If you need some media and marketing, please reach out to PGS Marketing on Instagram, or you can just send me an email at media@pglovesports.org. If you want to get your merch, please go on to pglovesports.com to get your merch. To subscribe to the free digital newspaper, the Playmakers Press, that comes out every Tuesday. You can go to prettygirlsmedia.com and you can click on newspaper to just read it right there. And if you want to subscribe, scroll to the bottom, type in your email address. That is all I need, and you will get the Playmakers Press to your email every week for free. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we are on the road to 500 subscribers. So please make sure you are liking and subscribing, and tell a friend to tell a friend that we need them for all the things that we need them for. But either way, I will see you guys.